let's say we would like to have some sort of a table that actually is not of a squares or rectangular base. So maybe it's more curved, seen from the top. Okay, so same thing here. We will start by creating an offset, 29 inches. Okay, set my world to inch. Okay, so tabletop, perfect. And yeah, let's create a sketch. Where's actually the height? Okay, stop. I want to see where's actually my world and where's the sketch. Okay, to double check that actually the sketch got created on the tabletop construction plane, I simply can right click, say redefine sketch plane, and then click tabletop. Okay, and then the sketch actually got moved out to the position of this construction plane. Okay, perfect. So double click to open the sketch, top view, and let's say I will create myself a quick boundary box so I understand roughly the dimensions. There. So for example, 30 and 60, and then this, for example, should be D2 by 2. Oh, this is D3. Wah, wah. Zip. And then U to U. This is actually D2 by 2. Okay, good. And all this, for example, I just select and say construction. So right now I roughly know how, for example, how big my 30-60 proportion is, and I click stop sketch, because essentially I only want this to be kind of like a bounding box, just as a reference. Then I will make a new sketch. No, stop sketch. Don't have the sketch selected. Make a new sketch on this plane there, top. And now instead of using the line, I will use the spline tool. And for example, click there and there and there and there. Maybe one more point and there. Okay, so you see, once you click on the last point again, it closes the shape. Then we can press escape, and then we can actually move, for example, these points around and create a nice and fluid shape. Very easy. So this is actually, for this type of a task, a pretty good tool. Okay, let's say something like this. And then extrude there 2 inches. Okay, and maybe in this case here, I just want the top only to be rounded by maybe 2 inches. Yeah, actually go 2 inches. So you see actually just from the top down to the bottom, it just completely rounds it down. Okay, so let's say below, actually I would like to have also a surrounding, and then the inside, for example, there's an opening. So actually in this case I will go to the same sketch where I have my tabletop. I could do it in there, but that could also mean I always have a lot of sketches, not a sketch, a lot of lines in one sketch to deal with. And I personally, for example, prefer to always have everything separated on different sketches. So I will create a new sketch on the ground, okay, but then I will actually project the outside of my sketch down, okay, then I can hide actually my table sketch. Then we can create an offset of this line to the inside, maybe by 1 inch. Let's take a look at the top. And now we can decide where would I like this design to be open. So maybe from there, kind of like this. Okay, and maybe the same somewhere here. And I have to try to draw it so it looks like actually that it is perpendicular to that arc. I drew by accident an extra line, so I can click the line, press delete, and then it's gone. Okay, so why is this process actually pretty usable? So the main reason is if I, for example, in this sketch, change something. The fillet had some issues. You see actually this goes down. But the problem is this projection, the offset currently is actually not parametric. So it does not update, but we can always go back to that sketch and then recreate the offset. So for example, let's say there, and now I have to go back to the sketch, and for example there, delete this one, and then I could say offset you by 1 inch there. Okay, all good. So, and why did I actually draw these 2 lines? Well, these 2 lines actually help me to kind of like, let me try to select this area. There, I have it selected. Helps me to cut off actually the outer ring into 2 segments. So this one and the smaller segment in between. And then what I have selected now, I can actually simply extrude up. So let's go to create, extrude there, and this actually would be D1. And let's say new body there. Selected a little bit too much than it should have, so let's go back to edit feature and Apple click this one off. There, so I only want that outside area selected, but it does it again. Okay, let's see, let's delete it. Let's go to this again, create, extrude, just this edge, let's move it up. Okay, D1. Okay. I would say that is a bug, so I have to send this to Autodesk for a moment, because that should actually not happen. So let me troubleshoot one thing. Because here you see now 2 selected, it should not select 2, it should just select this one. Actually, your body, okay, does it again. Okay, so how do I work around? Well, I could also simply go ahead, click this line and say break link. So now you see it's blue. This means when I adjust the top sketch, this part doesn't adjust anymore, unfortunately. But now actually I could go ahead and say trim this off. See, it's all gone. Stop sketch and bang. Now that feature works the way how it should. Okay, so that's was for example one way. And let's say I would like to explore different variations. So maybe this one I call side 1 stop sketch, and maybe here this is actually side 1, this is top, there and there, and let's make a new sketch again on the ground. From the tabletop, please project this one down. Okay, hide this one, and maybe now I actually do 2 offsets. So the first offset maybe 0.5 inwards, and then I make another offset 1 to the inside, and for example that should be at the same position of these lines. So click. See, actually I clicked on the endpoints of my original line here. I could even simply project this line in there, and actually this I delete, this I delete, and say project this one in. So I only have to maybe work on this one time, but no, I can't actually really adjust them. Maybe for this study I want to have a different look. Then I could also again, for example, click on break line, and then I can not only move them around but also change the way how they look. Okay, so out of curiosity, let's see what happens now if we do an extrusion, and it does the same. Okay, so then also here, this actually now we don't need anymore. I'm actually right now in troubleshoot mode to figure out what the problem is with that command. So it seems actually to be an issue that the surface is not trimmed. We can just trim it there. What doesn't work, we'll make work, and then this will be D1. Okay, and you see now in this case we have a small rim around. So what can we do with the small rim? Well, maybe we actually round the small rim. There, select this piece, 0.1. Oh, it's a little bit softer, not so sharp. And then there now we have space to put, for example, cabinets, shelves, or something similar into it. So actually, let's do that. I'm going to go back to the sketch. And actually, I would like to have something functional. So in this case, that means maybe the lines I have here that don't really make sense. They have to change a little bit. So I moved this one to there. So you see automatically it made it vertical. And I have to remove these points so I can change this. Quick check if the extrusion remains working. It does. Okay. So this is, for example, side 2. And let's show the sketch. We can go into edit mode for the sketch. And for example, I select these 2 points and then move them up a little bit. There, and maybe I move this a little bit to there. And then this point I connect to this point. You see this is crooked right now. Nah, this doesn't work currently with the sketch because as you remembered, the extrusion command becomes a little bit annoyed with it. So the geometry for the cabinet, so we simply put into a new sketch for the moment as a workaround. It's also okay, then this way, again, we can separate those different building blocks easily. So I will actually, as you can see, snap to where these 2 lines intersect. Okay, and then let's do the same there. Maybe actually I want to 3D. No, project actually this one there. And I think this one I can turn off. Yeah, maybe I turn off the bodies, and there you have it. See, and I can go up. Oh, no spline. Wah, wah. Wrong drawing tool. Sorry. And have this one hidden there. There. Let's go over. Okay, good. So that's not too bad for our first piece. So how can we build actually the rest of these shelves? So I will actually delete this one for the moment, and this one I will delete there, and this one I will delete because I can see like the way how it all overlays. And now, does the wood run outside or is it in the inside? Let's say it's actually in the inside. That means I have to move this one up a little bit. And also here, this point. So this one I have to move up till it actually is on that surface. Okay, good. Because then you will see, now I can actually do an offset, let's say by 1 inch. Maybe give this a 1 inch distance. There, same here, same there. Okay, let's take a look at this again. And what I want to do is now I drag this one actually down till it snaps, for example, on that part. There, okay. And let's say this actually will be mitered. Then we could, for example, draw a line this way, or it simply will be shelved off that way. And then here I can connect this. And then there I can connect this. And then I could say stop sketch. And then do U and U, D1, new body, and let's say repeat, there, D1, okay, and this, for example, maybe we call shelf walls. And how to put in, for example, a shelf, I skip, since we did this actually in a previous step. But this way, for example, now you could see how neatly everything can quickly stick together. And this is a really very rough mock-up. And this is kind of like the process and the workflow I would like you to use when you create your first computer models for the furniture stuff, because at the beginning you're just still exploring ideas. You might made a sketch you say you like, but the moment you start building everything, you might discover some functional issues or some aesthetical issues or further opportunities. So your initial design, when we go into CAD, will continue to mature, because you should not see CAD as just the step where you finalize and just execute your initial idea. This is still part of your idea finding process. And once, for example, really build a good concept model, then actually we can take a look at and see now how could we, for example, take all these parts and create, let's say, a list of materials like a BIM, so we could give it to, let's say, a manufacturer who then would build everything for you.